So I guess we're live. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hi, Tom.
Hi, Ren. Seems so long since we've done this.
I know. It's like, look how long my COVID beard has gotten since we last were here. Anyhow.
Wait to the next 3 episodes. You can watch Rand's beard grow even longer.
No, it's not going to get that much longer. We're going to be like tomorrow and Wednesday.
Oh, we're doing it every day. I didn't even know that.
Oh, hello. Welcome. Welcome to Rand, the great scheduler.
It's going to be every Monday for the next 2 more weeks.
No, the heck with that. We've got this like special week here for, in between Christmas and New Year's. I don't know. Let's just pack them in, I say.
So it's next 2 days. So I gotta seriously read and catch.
Yes.
I'm on issue 5 right now, reading through them.
Hey, Ruben. Ruben's on Facebook.
Hey, Ruben.
Good to see you guys. So we're on going out to Facebook. We're going out to YouTube. We're going out to Periscope / Twitter. We're going out to Twitch. And I just tried something, and supposedly we're on Instagram right now. So I have no idea what's happening. I just pushed a button and did some copying and pasting, and supposedly this is working. I don't even know if we'll get comments from Instagram in our aggregated chat field over here. It would be wonderful if we did. But hi, everyone out there. Say hello. I know that we definitely see comments in from you Facebook. Guys. Yeah, Facebook. There's Ruben again. Hey, Ruben. But we love to hear from you while we're doing this. I am the executive director, founder. Oh, look, and who am I? I'm of the Jack Kirby Museum, and and Tom, who are you?
I am the president of the Jack Kirby Museum.
You are. And we've just been joined by Elana. Elana, who are you anyhow?
That's a good question. I'm the supporter of the Jack Kirby. No, we are all supporters of the Jack Kirby Museum. But I am a supporter of the Jack Kirby Museum. I am the host of Graphic Policy Radio. And I podcast about comics and the intersection of comics and the world, politics and culture and society. And I'm sorry, I thought if I showed up too early, you would just keep me in the waiting room. So I hope I'm not.
We're really happy to have you join us. If you want to hang out until issue 2 or whatever, that's whatever.
Oh yeah, no, I wasn't sure. I thought I was just going to be backstage, and then I was suddenly on camera. I was like, oh, sorry.
I know, no.
We could put you backstage, but we'd like to have you here.
We're happy to have you here. Fine. So just join us. All right, great. So
I just know that folks have heard me talk about Omac #1 a lot already. So I'm interested in hearing what other folks have to say on the matter.
Yeah. So we had a 3-hour-long fun night on a Saturday night back at the end of November, about a month ago, and Elana joined us to talk about Omac #1, and that was fun. And I think that we're gonna take that segment and make it its own discrete segment on YouTube. I didn't get to do it today. I was thinking I was going to get to it, but it didn't happen. But we'll make it happen because we like Omac, obviously, and Elana. It was a lot of fun to talk to you about issue #1. But we're going to talk about issue #1 again. So, and we're leaving out some things that we spoke about then and whatever. So should we just start?
Just start.
What do you say, folks? All right, here we go. I'm going to push the button. And here we are, episode 1. Are you ready? All kinds of, we're going to take issues 1, 2, and 3. And I read them today. They're really fun. So here's the first issue cover. I remember buying it off the racks. And it was really cool because it was I love the graphic element of it, and really weird with Lila there in the box. Well, I later learned it was Lila when I read the story, but it was different because it was so white and so boldly graphic. Like, it really was eye-catching,
Yeah.
And this is something we were lucky to have scanned. This is Kirby's original art for the cover. So even more graphically bold, and Omac, one-man army corps, startling look. I mean, it's all there. It's just interesting how to have his idea to have the type so bold. So and they definitely reversed it.
Yep, they flipped it, enlarged it.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, here we go. Let's those of you who have seen our shows before, you might have an idea what's happening, because we're going to head into a mega side-by-side, where, thanks to our efforts on the Kirby Digital Archive, we have a scan of the original art for the first page, and then we also have, thanks to the Kirby estate, we have a great scan of the photocopy that came off of the Jack and Roz's copy machine back when he was working on these. So another, disturbing, the disturbing Lila image. But okay, we're gonna.
Yeah, I think everybody had this kind of crazy impression of it, that, oh my God, this woman's like severed, and her head is in the middle between her legs and everything. It just was, really striking.
Yeah. And what we find is that we're kind of in the I'm just going to turn this.
Actually, Roy,
going to turn this thing off. So we end up in the middle of the climax of the story. Jack even acknowledges that. So we're seeing this exciting moment. But it's,
but
go ahead,
somebody corrected me. I'm not sure, but it's not a mohawk. It has. I think it was you, Ran.
It was not me. It was somebody in the chat. But it was more like a Roman centurion
helmet. That's what I've always described it as.
Yeah, centurion helmet. Yeah. So.
I wonder if the Mohawks that started coming out in the 80s, early, with the punk movement, and that everything had something to do with it, because this came out in 1974, 3.
Yeah, don't know.
Like before they were like mainstream.
Yeah. So there's the original art, which is beautiful, and if you get a copy of the Tom Kraft Labor of Love project, Jack Kirby Pencils and Inks book from IDW, you'll see the whole story also in pencils and in inks,
except for the spread.
Because as we have said at all these things, we've that the Kirbys generally did not photocopy the spreads, just because it didn't fit into the automatic feed. All right, where are we? Moving on to the next one. All right. Oh, geez. Yeah, so where does humanity stop and technology begin? I don't know, Omac.
We don't know nowadays.
We don't even know now, and it's 27 years later.
I don't think we ever will.
No. Goodbye, Lila. And then, Omac just does this monster walk, explosion, walk towards the camera thing, or walk. I don't know. It's a pullback, but his body is transmitting enough explosive power to start a chain of blowups. He just blows the whole place up. Yeah,
and just casually walks out.
That's it. And then we end up back. Oh, hello again. So so here we're back in time now, and we see that the global peace agents have presented Buddy Blank to, what's his name, Morgan something, scientist, saying okay, here's your man. And
such a great name, Buddy Blank. Blank. Considering that he's a nobody and he's a blank person, he's ready to be transformed into this god warrior.
He's just such an absolute nobody. I mean, very different from Steve Rogers and Captain America, because Steve is I I may be skinny, but I'm into your scientific experiment. Buddy's just like clueless. He's just like, he's working a horrible job, getting beaten up by his coworkers, yearning for more contact with, the robot girl down the hall.
That's when I did my piece for Shelf Dust about Omac.
Yeah.
One of the questions they asked was, who is Buddy Blank currently Omac? And they meant currently as in at the point in the timeline that they were writing, which was during Infinite Crisis. And my response was, it doesn't matter. No. He's blank. The whole point, he's blank. I refused to answer the question. And they were like, yeah, that's a perfectly reasonable answer, Ilana.
Yeah, that's right. So, okay. So here's this. They're handing off the sign. Myron Forrest, Professor Myron Forrest. And he's activating Bud. I'll do this. So I created a special icon, so we have Brother I watching over us in our stream. But he activates Brother I, and every time, of course, we see the peace agents. They have to mention that their faces are covered with cosmetic spray because it makes them anonymous. They could be of any nation. We'll see later. It doesn't make them completely anonymous, but it's
kind of funny because like every single issue they have to reinforce that.
Yeah, Jack's got to do that every time just to explain what's going on with these people. So, all right, here it is. Myron is explaining Buddy Blank, and then Buddy's like, down at his job.
Buddy, this is funny. Buddy works at a film.
He does. It's true. Yep. And of course there's like Flash Thompson beating up on him or whoever that guy is.
Oh, good point.
Right? And it's like and then of course the boss is like the Super V, the supervisor. He's like, yeah, buddy, you've got a persecution complex. It's always everybody else's fault, buddy. Forget it,
His name is Fox, just like Victor Fox.
Oh, Victor Fox, the king of the comics.
Did you ever get that? Did you think that when I was reading it? It's like,
I did.
Using Victor Fox's name.
Because Kirby was working at Fox Comics. That's where he met Joe Simon. It was like 39 or something like that. Wasn't Victor Fox was the guy who used to walk around going, "I'm the king of the comics." That's why.
Up and down
while the people were drawing in his like comics sweatshop. And it's one of the reasons why Jack really wasn't that fond of being called the king, it's not, it doesn't really, anyhow. All I know is that Roz put a crown on Jack's memorial stone, so that to me it's like, he's the king of the comics. So then they send him to the primal screen room. John and Yoko are in there beating up some pillows.
I thought this is so cool, like the idea of having these places to get your frustration out.
Yeah,
or this woman's coming out because she needs to cry, and it's a crying room. It's all within the warehouse, the corporate kind of like environment. It's just so strange.
Yeah, it's like
there are bars you can go to break things. Like
it's true. That's right. Yeah,
and the axe throwing.
There is.
As opposed to the axe throwing places, but
yes.
But I don't even feel like burning cars right now, Buddy Blank says, and he leaves. I'm depressed. He leaves. He bumps into Lila, and then, we know what happened to Lila, and then these guys are like, wow, yeah, okay. And then
they take Lila apart.
To Section D. And then we see...
It's like Command D.
Section D, Command D.
Birth of Omac.
Here we go. We got another one. I like this one. It's funny because I guess it was like when we were doing the Demon in a series like this where suddenly near the end of the Demon he turned one of his chapter splashes into a panel page, which was a surprise. But I think as the page count shrunk, I think he realized he needed to tell his stories, he needed to kind of use the chapter breaks for panels, kind of but I don't know, something about this one that I like. Blacks. I like when there are blacks. Oh yeah, and by the way, buddy, don't you realize you can blow up a literary agent by sending him a sex doll? Hilarious. Oy. So yeah, so that's what Nancy is selling, murder.
And the guy's laughing.
Exactly, the Zoom Marlins, and then right then it's like, what? Don't you worry about that. You mean Lila's a one of these pseudo people, and then it happens. You indescribable fiend. He's getting some kind of,
I think that the transformation page there is just incredible.
It's very
especially
cool.
in black and white. I don't know if you have the black and white version, but it's just beautiful. I mean, it's probably one of the best ones.
Yeah.
Ever.
I mean, you know what my general
send one to Trump.
One of my general themes when I compile these shows is that there's a lot of times there's just so much art that I kind of make the decision, like chapter splashes. I'm just going to put those in if we have them. Otherwise, there's just too many.
Mm-hmm.
And then there he is. Yeah, it's me. I'm Omac. I've been against my will. What? I've been shot with hormones from space. Okay.
It happens.
Right?
It happens, you know.
Are you ready?
Because you have no choice.
It's the world of the future. Oh, boy. And then he just.
And that is where they have all the plastics and stuff that they make all the things with.
Yeah.
All the models with.
And he kind of just goes and,
This is the first panel. Such a strange perspective. I had to look at it a while and try to understand what's going on there because and he's kind of like it's like you're on the other side of the door now.
Right.
And
right.
He's flying through the door, and these people were standing at the door.
Right. Omac's clobbered our security man. He's got lightning reflexes. All right. Okay. And then here we go.
Then we're back to the beginning of the story.
Yeah, we're back to the beginning of the story. He's just blown up the factory, and now he's gonna nab Mr. Big. And there's the end. You and I are always linked. We're like brothers. Yeah, except I just, you're just.
It's the most complex and sophisticated device ever that mankind has ever made.
It's true.
And then he gets the instructions. He zaps it down that he's going to see Mr. Big, and that's where Lila comes in the next issue.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Want to rent a city, Elana? Are you into renting a city? You're muted.
I think the first time I saw the cover of Omac 2, I was like, because I had seen Omac 1 a long time before it. I thought, if Omac 1 is like this most amazing cover and a concept I'm so on board with looking at, 2 was just like that much more.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't have as unique of a graphic design, of course, but the whole premise of like a rich man is renting the city, like what do the people who live there have to say of this is so like up my alley of like stuff I want to talk about, because this is like during the whole modern concept of privatization of public space was like just beginning to be a conversation at that point.
That's
so it's and then now like looking at this in like a post Bloomberg New York where so much public space has been bought and owned and run by private corporations, and then they limit how people can use it and access it, and we're supposed to be like, oh, thank you so much for doing this thing that you should have just done with your tax dollars. It's like really, really prescient. So I like that a lot. And I just love how Omac is like, yeah, I don't give a fuck about the fact that you rented the city. I fight for everyone. Like, yes, populist champion. My only other thought, though, about this cover is this man's marionette-ish jaw situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really huge. Yeah. Yeah, that is.
But just the title with Mr. Big can rent a city for assassination. I mean, I'm so sad that I didn't see this until after Bloomberg was no longer in office. And
Right.
I would have had a lot of fun with that.
Yeah.
But it's also like one of those things where when other people stumble on it, they're like, Elana, have you seen this? Like, yes, I have seen this. Because I think it is like one of these great Jack Kirby covers that has this combination of really dynamic art and like just social commentary.
Yeah. Yeah. And there were, never really noticed that there were curtains drawn behind the general. So it's just such a weird, like, we're looking out this window, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, they have a good view.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any of these pencils before, by the way. So
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, but look out the window. It's a very different. Background. The city's totally. They redid the whole city.
Well, I don't know whether they redid it. It's just that this fun thing that I'm mousing over here is covered up by the word balloon, which is disappointing. I mean, it's still kind of there, but it's just covered by word balloons. And
yeah, Mike probably inked it totally. Or no, this is D. Bruce Berry, I believe.
Yeah. So I mean. All right, so here we are. Oh, we got another one. So please let me into Electric
Make
City.
a side by side.
That's right. It's coming. So
produce
an invitation. Like you can't come in. And produce your COVID ID, or you can't come into the city. Anyhow, so yeah.
I really love this is rented to a private citizen. Like, it's very, very clear that, like, this is a private corporation that has taken over the city. And that Omac actually needs to get there, has reason to get there, but a rich guy has decided that this is his playground. So, and then the police are enforcing it, right? Like, it's this, is the, but he's private. It says private P on his arm. So he's like a privatized police as well, right?
Yeah.
Right.
All right. And then Omac is like,
spread.
no. I've had enough of you guys. Out of my way. And we have our classic guy in the foreground looking back at the viewer.
That is true. That is definitely a popular frames that always work, but for Jack Kirby as opposed to Wally Wood. So
Right.
Yeah, Mike Royer knew D. Bruce Berry.
Yeah.
And introduced him to Jack.
Right. So he takes out these motorcycles, and then what do you know? Here's some fun party goers who think that Omac's just in his costume, or do they?
I love the designs for those two guys.
I do too. I just can't get enough of it. Yeah.
They're like spooky and disturbing, but also like look like a regular. Like people used to have real shitty Halloween costumes back in the day. Right. I can like smell the pre-made plastic of this guy's sack outfits. Like it's all there.
Yeah.
There's so many great buildings in this series. I just love all of these little visual touches and the outlines of the architecture.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, so I think it mentioned it already, but no, just in general that the way they got rid of everybody in the city is they paid their taxes for a year.
And we would never even get that much taken care of. They would just be it's rented, and no, you still have to pay their taxes.
Yeah, but there was some stupid line like, "How did it happen?" It's like, well, they're paying everybody's taxes.
Like, when they're in the car, I think they talk about that.
Yeah, I just think it's interesting that like he felt like he had to justify how this was possible in a way that is actually less dystopian than reality. I'm like, no, that's better than now.
Yeah.
Because like And it really is like him saying, well, I couldn't possibly just take it and not give the general public any benefit. Why would people go along with it? Like, funny, you should ask. Anyway, Myron Forrest, like, do you feel like he's a very how does he fall in the pantheon of doomed to die for their science, Jack Kirby science man?
Other than like Professor Erskine and
I mean, is there somebody other than Erskine who he's like? I don't even know.
No, the guy in Silver Star, he wasn't doomed. I think he just was hanging around. But he was a lot like this. It was a lot like, I have a mustache and I'm a scientist and I'm, there's this super powered being. But he didn't die. Or did he? Tom, do you remember Silver Star at all? Did that scientist?
Yeah, I believe he died because he was in the car driving, and then all those things came after him from Drum.
We should do a Silver Star series.
Darius Drum, I think his name is.
Yeah.
2 M's.
Yeah.
Dumb or Drum. Yeah, Drum.
It's just beautiful drawing. Love it. I love the type treatment. Mike did the lettering on this one, I believe.
He did the lettering. This is the last, in between kind of one.
Yeah. Oh, it's very cool looking. Oh, he approaches. Yeah, it's me, and I don't remember anything about me. But now,
it's fading from him.
Yes, it's fading. Yeah, I'm a force for peace.
There's not much to know because you were blank.
Yeah,
buddy.
No great loss for the world. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah, buddy.
I just think it's so, like, the whole, because this is such a Hal, obviously Hal, and Hal is a bad guy, a threat to humanity. Like, are we supposed to think that Myron Forrest is, like, obviously he's motivated by the right things, but do we think that he's not the brightest bulb when it comes to, like, what the actual impact of his actions are going to be? Or I just think it's so ambiguous, like, how we're supposed to feel
really
towards Brother Eye.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder where it might have gone if it went longer, but it seems like it's just like, we're global peace. Come on, man.
I can just imagine the heel turn from Brother Eye, like,
Right.
You thought I'm watching everyone, and now you have no privacy at all.
That's right. And you're the person of interest. No, but
I really love the expression remote controlled hormone surgery from space,
I know.
though, because, like, it's so specific, but also it's like, how amazing would that be? I know a lot of people who would very much appreciate to not have to go through, like, their health insurance company to get approved to have surgery or get hormones that they need to access.
Remote controlled hormone surgery from space.
Thank you. Just space will provide this for you instead. Would be so much better.
Invisible beam that comes down and cures you and everything. You don't have to do anything.
And gives you the body that you identify with. So
right. Yeah. Yeah, that's an interesting thought.
Here are those great costume guys again. Yeah, no, that's it. They're the ones who take out Myron Forrest. And it was apparently it was all just a ploy. The whole Mr. Big taking over the city was to get Omac in there and to find Myron. So go figure.
They know that the city is called Electric City, but their costumes say Party City.
That's right.
Oh, really? I didn't notice that.
They don't. That was just a joke about Party City.
No.
So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Then they take off, and that's it. Now what? Oh, this amazing sequence coming up. Professor, but what? I'll make Mr. Big and his racket pay for this.
The strange thing here is that apparently Brother Eye can't multitask because he didn't give Omac the necessary strength to catch them because he was too busy trying to save the doctor.
Oh.
That's right. And then he sends Omac out and just wipes out the whole room like Myron was in. Yeah.
But it doesn't start on fire. It's just kind of like
it's just
the contents.
A flash of solar heat.
but it doesn't start a fire.
Right. And then we've got
what an amazing onomatopoeia. Zrsh.
Zosh. Yeah.
Zrsh.
Yeah.
It's a Hungarian onomatopoeia.
That's right. And there he is, Mr. Big.
Mr. Big.
And Major Domo. That's cool.
It's fun.
Yeah.
He's got the Ayatollah Khomeini look going on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, not Mr. Big, but the Major Domo.
Yeah. All right. So now what? Technology has enlarged society until its scattered evils have merged into one giant target for Omac. Okay. He doesn't have his huge marionette mouth, unfortunately.
But he walks around with this little cape in the back, which is kind of bizarre.
That's true. Yeah.
It's future fashion.
Right.
I like it.
Yeah. And we took care of. Well, Omac isn't dead, so you guys are in trouble.
Who did the colors on this? Because one of the things that works for me is the green backgrounds. But when he's looking through that room, it definitely feels like this is fluorescent light. Yeah. So like that other back room has gotten more of the fluorescent light, and there's like machines happening in it, and it's sort of you're seeing the difference in the different fluorescent light tones between.
Yeah, yeah. I don't. The pat answer is this guy Jerry Serpe, but it may not have been him. That's the problem. That's because there were a few other colorists around. So then we've got what? Oh yeah, we're back.
Then he's just walking down the street, kind of thing.
Like,
thank you, Mr. Big. And then he kind of mocks everybody and says, these people are just like, I don't really care. They don't realize that they don't really matter. Basically, this whole thing's just to get rid of Project Omac.
Yeah. Oh man, look at that scarecrow person costume. That's great down there on the cover, which I just covered. Yeah, isn't that great? This drink is free on Mr. Big.
It's definitely critical of like people just going along with the open bar.
Yeah. Take him to me.
I think the panel in the lower right with Omac King is a particularly good bit of facial acting for Omac here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And there's our two guys again. This melee of, Centurion, World War I doughboy, everybody's in there. And then everybody back away. Boom! And he's dead. Incredible. Omac. Well, so the second issue was the last issue. All right.
And he was never seen again.
Never seen again. Yeah.
I definitely think this puts all the seeds that begin to in order about like the whole plot they have later about stealing young people's bodies for old people.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of old people up to no fucking good in Omac.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the mayor shows up with peace agents. And we've got all the evidence we need to trap you. The case is airtight. And they're about to shoot the mayor and the peace agents, but then they get zapped. And that was Brother Eye who did that. And then, guess what? Omac really isn't dead. Well. It's a long-range beam carried computed molecules to create a simulated wound. Incredible. And he's back.
He's back.
As if there was ever any question about that.
Thank goodness. There's.
I thought he was dead.
Yeah.
All right, Yojimbo on YouTube. Good to see you. Thank you.
It was so textured. Yeah.
There's another good one. Where is it? Here, this one.
That's right.
The relationship between Mother Box and
yeah. All right, so Omac is back. Yes.
He stretches a little bit because he was dead.
And guess what? They use a cosmetic spray to hide their features.
Really? I didn't know that.
I know.
Why did they do that?
It's because they represent all nations, Tom.
Oh,
it's so interesting. I'm so interested in that particular touch because it's very much coming from a space in time where the idea was that if you could have people be completely colorblind and you wouldn't be able to tell who was a man and who was a woman, and like the people would be unbiased and everything would be equal. And then now we're sort of like, actually, the way you're raised and your history and your life and your parents and what they've done impacts how you see the world. And you can't really get to, there is no neutral, and it will always color how you and impact how you behave. But it's very much of its time in that what he's saying there was 100% what that's like what a lot of people would have been like, yeah, exactly. Like that was
exactly. I know. Yeah.
Liberal thinking of its time, basically.
Yep.
So I think it's interesting that he always comes back to emphasizing that to folks, like that particular point.
Yeah. And there's a letters page. I believe this one is written by Steve Sherman. The essay in Omac #1 is great. It's written by it's acknowledged as being written by Jack, and I really enjoyed it. So
I actually, when I worked on the Pencils and Inks book, the intro for Omac, I added all the text from that into it, so that it set the stage for that section of Pencils and Inks.
Yeah. So
he did even Commandy, the first Commandy, the dialogue, and that is really good too.
Yeah. All right. This is a fun issue. How are we doing? 7:37. Okay. So we've got pencils. I am just gobsmacked by the weird lettering of parents picked by computer. Like Jack had it right, but like this is just so weird.
What does it say on the photocopy? Something.
It says the same thing. Movies in which we live. Parents picked by computer. But it's just weird that like the lettering, like I don't know. It's they have parents picked and then carriage returned by computer. Like it's weird.
It's just dramatic pause.
I suppose, yeah.
Parents picked by computer.
All right.
It's almost like computer dating, which is basically.
Oh look,
what
I
it is.
didn't do the animation on this one. All right.
So this is really cool because he's watching a movie with a headset. It's almost like Oculus, like AR.
Yeah.
Like this is like 1974.
I know, and it's way before Harvey Norton in 2001 in the Hollow Suite. But yeah, this is definitely
and this is this one was totally done by Bruce D. Barry, so you can tell that the titling isn't Mike Royer.
Right.
I personally don't like his titling as much, but
sure. No, it's so yeah. Ruben pointed out that the circle was not Jack's idea, so that's.
Yeah, it does go back to the theme of the first issue, though, like the first issue with a very, very sparse cover, kind of leading up against the second.
Yep. So Mike's watching a movie.
This is a cool spread.
It's amazing. Yeah, it comes pretty darn close to being as good as that Devil Dinosaur spread,
The dream scene,
the dream.
It's less psychedelic, though.
Right, that's right. Yeah.
But it is very far out.
Yeah, it's really cool.
The skulls are fucking cool.
Yeah, they're great.
It reminds me a little bit of that one of the demon spreads that had him like on the cliff and stuff, and all these heads flying around and stuff.
It's just great. What? Oh, the art. Huh.
It's beautiful.
This also sort of feels like stuff from, I Actually, I don't know if the holodecks were a thing in the original series. I'm sorry, the original what series? Star Trek, the original series. But it kind of feels like adjacent to that too.
Sure. Yeah.
Maybe some TOS fan can chime in on that.
You know, I just read an article about it today because they had a holodeck adventure in the last episode of Discovery. Apparently, the holodeck was first introduced in the animated series.
I love it.
I can't believe I know that, but that was my reading today in my feed.
Perfect fortuitous timing.
That's right.
So then holodeck is ripping off Jack Kirby. That's fine.
And he's having an adventure. And you yanked away the mind phones in the most exciting part of the movie.
Mind phones.
Mind phones. Nice. And then it's like, yeah. So, and he gets the acknowledgement. He is a 5-star general.
Yes. So, yep.
So everybody.
Which means that there are still armies. That's the thing. It kind of contradicts the. There's no armies thing.
Everybody.
Yeah, there's supposed to be an agency, peace agency, not a military army.
The memories of my former life are gone. All right.
Not missing much. They're kind of blank.
And then it's time for
this
some
is so
parents.
weird. It's so weird.
And our first distinctly female peace agent, I suppose.
Yep.
So that was a.
Yeah, the whole here's your new parents thing is interesting because a lot of people want that, but at no point was Buddy Blank like, you know what I need. but it's like a real need that a lot of folks have.
That's
I mean,
true.
New York City has a service for connecting senior citizens with people who want to rent rooms in their homes so that the seniors can keep their home and have someone who could open the jars, and it's sweet. It's sweet.
It is. You're right. So then they are. They're in his house. And
is he in a house or is they're gonna live there? But where is he?
I didn't mean to do that. Good God. That's a good question. I'm gonna go back
because it seems like he's at the agency.
He has quarters. He has quarters in the
agency, right? So these people are going to have quarters too with him. Okay.
Where is he? I don't really. No, doesn't really say. He's just there. So,
he's somewhere.
He's got quarters in the agency.
Yeah, because all these peace agents are hanging out.
Yeah, it's like Harry and Randu. Just everybody, they just drop in all the time.
But that's oh man, I just wish people could just drop in right now.
I know, right?
It's just gonna be like we're living in Seinfeld.
It's true.
But I really do love that about. Sorry, not to completely sidetrack, but I love the demon supporting cast. I really do.
Yeah.
I love that. He's the U.S. the envoy from India at the UN, and he's I have all the time in the world to just hang out with my
hang out at Jason Blood's place. Yeah.
Right, Harry and Matthew.
It's but it's so great.
It is.
Anyway.
Looking in his fridge.
Yeah, right.
Then we learn about Kafka. Kafka's in trouble.
The name choice.
Marshall.
But yeah, I was trying to figure out which specific former Soviet bloc. Trying to figure out which specific former Soviet bloc dictator he was evoking the most. And I kept Googling because it is kind of like a Gaddafi situation with his face still. But he feels like he should be post-Soviet. If anybody has any suggestions, I was does he look like Ceausescu? No, not really.
Not really, no. That's true, Patrick. Philip K. Dick stuff. Absolutely. Yeah. All right. Yep. Trouble. Time. He has 100,000 troops. So then he's
going to
using
need a lot. He's mentioned he's going to need a lot of help from Brother Eye.
right. And then it's all like low space travel, like anywhere on Earth we're going to see at some point. Anywhere on Earth is just minutes away.
I love this panel. This page
really
is so good.
Yeah, it's great.
It's pretty good. Yeah.
It's like, it's space.
Yeah.
And it also has that blurred line between Kirby Crackle and objects in space.
Yeah.
And
that's right. Yeah.
I think a lot of the time Kirby Crackle is visually read by people as being like objects in a stream, but often it's actually the absence of things,
right,
rather than the presence of things. And so this is the page where you have both the objects in space,
true,
and the absences of objects in space in like the same combination.
Yeah, it's very cool.
And a lot of times it symbolizes like energy or explosions and stuff like that, like the power, like energy.
Oh man,
the fact, like, he had to invent a way to depict cosmic energy because cosmic energy doesn't exist, and so now, like, officially the visual sign of cosmic energy is Kirby Crackle.
That's right.
And it's a symbol of a thing that isn't real, but it like exists and goes beyond. I mean, I think it's such a cool visual innovation.
It's true.
Yeah. I mean, we saw it in the New Gods with water, roiling ocean. So there's lots of. I think he ended up using it for lots of just like energy of any kind, whether it was space energy, water energy, just kind of motion. It kind of indicates a kind of motion, I think. Yeah. So, yeah, he's landing. He's giving up pieces of his ship, and then, of course,
because they have tracking missiles on him.
They use television cameras to track him.
Wow.
Yep. And the peace agency's most strategic item, an assault chair. So now he's in his assault chair, which is totally cool, and like just it's not the Mobius chair. It's not the Astroforce harness.
Astral harness. Yeah.
Astro harness. Yeah. It's Omac's assault chair. Very cool. I mean, this is just action. He sprays the tanks with nitrogen. They get frozen. Does a little more nitrogen later too.
He's made the tanks useless. It happens.
And that's just. Yeah, I mean, it's just a choreographed action fight military sequence. Yeah.
They do really give the motion behind the chair, like Orion's astral harness. It's like 2.0.
Yeah.
Right. The Mobius chair.
Yeah. He takes out the road. Sonic shock. I guess he's got some good lumbar support in that thing. If you're going to be using it to assault, you might as well have a little something in the box, just to help out.
Well, it's also cool because, like, if you're thinking about, he doesn't have the power of flight, right? So you're going to have like a technological solution to that question.
Yeah.
And that's also another consistent thing with like Captain America, right? Because Captain America's got the same powers, but he also cannot fly.
Right. Oh yeah,
it's fun.
I did not have the original art for this, but we had the pencils, so I use it. We don't have, some of the stuff we don't have a lot of art for. And issue 8,
Omac pages are hard to find.
Yeah, issue 8 is like we don't even have the photocopies.
Oh.
If you have the Omac 8 photocopies, please contact us.
Or any photocopies, please contact us, because we'd like to scan them. You don't we just want to keep on adding, missing pieces to our archive.
Yeah. So yeah. Oh, and then this. It's like better than that, boys. I'll stop it. Here he comes.
It's a great wham with a fist.
His fist is devastating. I love it.
You know it.
Fist. Fist of devastation. Omac.
Yeah, I mean, I saw this and I wondered, like in the bottom panel, the guy in the front must have got really hammered in order to transfer all that energy across all those different people.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
But yet, it's so nicely abstracted.
It is. Yeah. Yeah. Out of my way. This armored golf cart will have to do. Okay. It's great. This middle panel is just like pew pew. And then tune in tomorrow. We'll finish the story. That's just how it works. So yeah, and that is it.
Yeah, it's really a cliffhanger on this one. I was reading it. It's like I know what happens on the next one, but it's like
yeah,
it's like right at the moment.
The world has had enough little Hitlers. I'm taking you in, Kafka. No more of that Gregor Samsa turning into a cockroach stuff, buddy.
I know it's an interesting name choice. But...
You're just like, I don't know. And the first letters page.
Eye in the Sky is great.
One guy, Eye in the Sky. There's one guy who says, "Hey, you're no Neil Adams, but I still like your style."
Yeah, I read that one.
Wah, wah.
And then here did you read the response?
Yeah, Jack is trying to figure out why he isn't Neil Adams, and Neil is in New York trying to figure out why he isn't Jack Kirby.
I feel like Neil Adams would have something to say to that.
Well, yeah. So those are the first 3 issues of Omac, and with a little bit of art and photocopies, and
it's just. Sorry, I'm just having a lot of feelings about this fucking letter writer. It's the goal of all art isn't necessarily to be realistic. It's not like Kirby's been sitting here the whole time being like, how can I do better photorealism? Like if that was Kirby's goal in life, then he would have been better at that. Do you know what I mean? I'm pretty sure if he was like, I need to be able to do this, he would have signed himself up for some additional figure drawing work and would have done it. But that isn't what he's trying to do. And so there's this tendency that people have who don't draw themselves to just assume that all art is about trying to be photorealistic, and then that is why that Neil Adams is clearly the best because he did. And Neil Adams brought something completely new and interesting to comics, and his art's fabulous. But that's not the goal of all comics art,
right?
And
the thing is, if you look at his comic strip art from the 30s, late 30s, and then even the early 40s, he was extremely realistic. And I think it was an evolution to get to this point of simplification of his art that drove this approach. Definitely was a conscious thing that he did over time. So,
there's a little bit of that going on, JEC on YouTube, but yeah, I mean it was how could he develop his abilities in order to tell those stories and to get those comics out, without a doubt.
Yep. Yeah, a lot of times realism. It was right. I mean, he had to pump out tons of comics, so I think his art adapted to that and became more simple.
And DJ, you're right. I think that if he had wanted to do more realism, he would have done it.
Yeah. And look at thinking about the way art reproduces as well. You wouldn't have been able to have particularly the Neil Adams stuff wouldn't have worked in older comics anyway. Literally.
Yeah.
But I think the way that you see the influence of abstract expressionism in Jack Kirby's, like extremely representational and therefore not the same as abstract expressionism, but like the way you see it reflected in his art is very stylized and like cool, and like that's the appeal of it. And you know, he's bringing some of his like mid-century modern aesthetic with him into the 72, and that's fine.
Yeah. No, and as
stupid letters from Reed.
Yeah,
I've always believed they always put the worst letters in letter columns. Like they're like, who's the dumbest person who's read this comic? Publish it. That's not to say always. There's a few great ones I've seen in my day too.
There have been some, yeah. I'm with you, Patrick. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So. Yeah, the machinery is. I have zero interest looking at representations of like realistic machines. It's so fucking boring. Like I want to see crazy ass psychedelic machines. Please bring it.
You know, there is a quote from him somewhere where he talks about furnaces that he saw when he was a kid, or some of the stuff in the factories where his parents might have worked. I actually saw this one furnace in the basement of the Paterson, New Jersey library, and I'm like, oh my God, it looks like a Kirby machine. You know, so I could just see him as a kid, like crawling around, you know, doing his like, you know, youth on the street on the Lower East Side, like coming across some of these amazing, you know, machines just then, and just being really, really struck by them.
Well, I think about it because they're always very backlit, right? You have the flame, and then you have some sort of design element of a grill, which often is ornamental. In front of it.
That's right.
That makes so much sense. Oh my God.
Yeah, it was really like this one furnace, as I said, in Paterson, where I was just like, oh, okay.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So that was our episode 1, and Tom, what's happening? When is episode 2, Tom?
Next Monday?
No, it's tomorrow. I'm sorry.
I told my wife, it's like, okay, 7:00 tonight, and I think we're doing the next 2 Mondays. And
oops. So
that's fine. I mean, I prefer to actually do that.
Yeah.
Because you know, it's a cliffhanger, and we can't keep people waiting
a week.
for like a week to find out what happens to General Kafka.
I really had fun making these graphics.
Yeah.
You know, just getting
excited.
The colors, yeah. Are you ready? In the world that's coming. Yes, I know. Busting the new bodies for old.
The new bodies for old people.
The subway. Yeah.
God, yeah. Fighting the subway.
I'm really looking forward to it.
There's a good legacy of following in that in comics later as well, but.
Yeah. And then on Wednesday, we'll finish it up. And look at that drawing there. That's Jack's pencils for his drawing for Who's Who in the DC universe.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a nice drawing, and I have to say, he was not served well by the inker. So, oh well. It was whatever, you know.
Well, at least we have the pencils.
We have the pencils. I was very excited because I saw the printed job, and it was like, oh. But then I found this, and I said, oh, that's actually pretty good. You know, Buddy needs to be more pathetic. I'm sorry, he's just not.
Yeah, it's true. Compared to the way he looked in issue 1 and issue 8 or whatever the last one was.
But there is there is Omac's fist of destruction right there at the top, which is great to see.
That we just saw. Yeah.
I love the shadows on the face.
Yeah.
Really beautiful.
It is. So I don't know. I feel like we're gonna close it up. Please check us out. We made it through like 58 minutes or something. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll be doing 4, 5, and 6, and it'll be fun. So join us.
It always is fun.
Yeah. Thank you,
Thank
Elana,
you for having
joining
me.
us.
Always a blast.
Thank you, everyone.
Oh, we love having you. It's really appreciate it.
Yes,
So.
thank you for attending. Thank you.
All right. See you guys. Thank you, everybody.
See ya.
Yep.